Today on Woodturning, we're going to make a project with a Medusa theme. Not because of my hair, but because of this.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Easy Wood Tools, best in class carbide wood turning tools.
Thompson lathe tools, made by a wood turner, for wood turners.
You know, this stuff is getting serious when even I need a haircut. I'm just one good pandemic away from an awesome comb over. Well, I saw this piece of wood. A buddy of mine at work, Ken, brought this to me, and this is a Crape Myrtle root burl. So I guess in truth, it's set like this in the ground, right? So it is one ugly piece of wood. I was noticing my buddy's YouTube channel, Carl Jacobson, and he's got friends and they bring him things like burl logs and ebony crotch wood pieces, you know, millions of dollars worth of stuff. But no, my buddies bring me stuff they're getting ready to throw away that they dug out of their yard. So Ken's chainsaw techniques need a little bit of work. So I'm going to trim this off on the bandsaw first, and then we're going to try to figure out how we're going to attach this thing to the lathe. My bandsaw skills are about as good as his chainsaw skills. Now it's time to mount the burl, the root burl, whatever it is. See this void down in here? It's already a natural catch. I've got, hard to see, but I've got a nice pocket in there, which is going to be nice and sturdy. I need that because I need something to go into that pocket, and I've kind of rigged this up. I've got my long nose easy wood chuck jaws on here. This is an old tool rest handle, and so it actually turned out to be the perfect length that I can take this like so, and I can slide this into here, and everything just locks in really, really well, like that. And what I've done over on this end, the hole I drilled is exactly the diameter of the Robust live center. So we'll get this onto here, and so by that going in there, now I have a really super, get that loose, strong hold. So that's in a hole, it's not going to break away. This is in a hole, it's not going to break away. So when this spins, it's going to be really stable. As I mentioned, Ken's chainsaw skills are lacking a little bit, but I want to save as much of this root as I can, so I'm going to wrap this in shrink wrap, or wrap for this stuff. But one thing is, make sure you wrap it the correct direction. It's kind of like if you put a paper towel roll on here and run it in reverse, it's going to unroll itself. So you want to make sure that when you approach this, you roll it over the top and under the bottom. That way it doesn't unravel as you turn the lathe on. So I'm going to use Ken's lack of chainsaw skills to start this thing, and then I'm going to start this thing like so. Let the lathe do the work. It's a lot tighter now with all that hair I got going. Thank God this Saturday afternoon I am getting a haircut in about 3 or 4 hours from now. So this is really dangerous. I went ahead and turned it on to test it, and everything's holding up good, but you want to have your controller. The Robust lathe comes with a magnetic controller you can put off to the side. So when you start this, have it turned all the way down to 0, turn it on like that, and then crank the speed up until you feel comfortable. Now, I'm not too sure what's going to come out of this stuff because of all the mold and crap and everything. I mean, I took Clorox to this because when I grabbed the bag, the bag that this was in, I just threw it over the fence and it turned into a science project. And so I had to use Clorox in to clean everything off last night, and I did it by my air conditioner, and I couldn't figure out why it was raining. Well, it was sucking the Clorox in and draining it, dropping it back down on my head. So that was really fun. So I had to rinse it off, and then I let it dry last night, and of course it rained on it, so God, it's been going downhill ever since. So I'm using a bowl gouge, and I think it's because it's going to take the smallest nibbles right now, and we just very carefully want to just enter in here and just start feeling where the wood is. So there we got a touch. Another touch. You are turning so much air right now. I'm looking up at that top profile right up here to see where I'm removing wood. And see, I'm taking off 1/4 of an inch right there. So So what you do is you just start worrying this down bit by bit, slowly, slowly, slowly. You could probably go with this with other tools, but right now, since this has such a small surface area to touch, I really prefer the bowl gouge, because I can turn it on and off pretty easily by the angle that I present it. I'm stopping for a second because I want to see how things are going. And look at the wood. I mean, that's some incredible looking stuff. Way to go, Ken. I appreciate that. I am now to the point to where I was skimming across like this to start figuring out where the edges were. I want to preserve this here, so I don't want to go any higher than that. And so I'm going to have to start a different technique, which I'll show you, and that is going in now with the tool rather than coming across like so. So I'm going to keep going in to establish my shape a little better. The one thing I'm going to do is, Brian and I were talking about this off camera, how wide is that base going to be? Is this going to fall over when we're done? But we're going to go as narrow as we can and see how it works out. Okay, back into the mask. Start her up. Oh, hit the right button, then it starts up. So anyway, the technique now is I'm coming in straight and making my shape. So I'll keep working on this for a while now. Okay, so Brian and I were talking off camera and we saw the shape here, and the shape's okay, you know, it's like a vase, but it doesn't look like Medusa's head. It needs a different shape to it, so we went to a lot of trouble and did some really fancy drawings here to figure this out. Right now our shape goes like this, out like that. That's just a normal vase. But if we curve it in here and then undercut this there, it's going to make it look more like a head. So I've already started making a couple cuts, and you can see all of a sudden now I'm getting a little bit of a different shape. So now I think this is going to work. We're just going to have to keep working on it for a little bit and see what I can do here. Now we've reached a point on Medusa's head where I'm going to run into trouble, because with a normal tool like this, when you come with a bowl gouge, all of a sudden you have intersections that are going to hit and catch, and undercuts are really dangerous, tricky cuts to make. So EasyWood has this wonderful point tool. Now look at all the room I have in here. So I can bring this in and whittle this back a bit, come up here, kind of pull this out. As long as I'm working with the tip on this and don't do something like that, or jam it straight in, I'm going to be good. And that's what you can't do with a regular tool. The scraper is really good for this. I'm going to use one of these tools. This will work. I'm going to take a carbide cutter. This now looks like a vase to me. Isn't that a nice shape? The undercut is good, and it has more artistic look to it. I'm glad Brian and I talked about this. This is really punky wood, so I'm not even going to sand this. I'm going to let this just stay raw like it is, and then we're going to let it air dry. But I think it's going to be a really cool project. So I just want to make the bottom flat. I can't do anything fancy with that. Turn her back on. The nibbles of wood. I'm going to come in from the side and work like that, and then come in from the side like that. Because I want the outer edge to touch first, that's how it'll be flat. Now for the reveal, who has the prettiest hair? Medusa or me? Oh, this is so cool. I really like the design change we made. That makes it look a lot better. And I'm going for a haircut after this. I don't know about this thing. Oh, that is sweet. If I get this out of here, look at that. That is so neat. Isn't that cool? It does look like Medusa. And it has no hole in there, so you can't put any flowers in there, so that makes it completely useless. So this is considered art. So that is how you make a Medusa vase, and we'll use Crape Myrtle root burl to do that. So until next time on wood turning, keep turning.
Tim's American Beauty was made by Robust Tools, America's premier lathe manufacturer. Quality hardened tool rests and live centers too. Robust. Built to turn wood. Enjoyed for a lifetime.
Easy Wood Tools, best in class carbide wood turning tools.
Thompson lathe tools, made by a woodturner for woodturners.